Oh. Good evening, good afternoon. I want to welcome you. We're a few minutes early before we start the show. We always do this so we can check our mics. Partner, let me hear your mic. You
Mike,
good over there?
Mike, yeah.
You got jokes today too, ain't you?
Well, you
But
said
anyway, folks, we got a great show coming at you. We got some things to talk about. We're going to talk about the executive order 14067, and that's having to deal with digital currency. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other things in the news. So y'all don't want to miss this show. Come on in, get it in, and get it on. What you say, partner?
I think that was the TV.
Oh, that was your TV.
Uh-huh.
Down year, but Charles Devine.
Oh yeah, folks, y'all come on in and share it around. We got a great show. We're talking about the Bitcoins, digital currency, the executive order that the president wrote, 14067. We're going to talk about those things, and we're going to inform the American people about that executive order. If you don't know about it, you might want to research it, but you also might want to share this. You're going to want to share this show. I can tell you that. You're going to put a lot of good information out there for folks to really listen to and to research. Oh, there we are, partner. We are live. Share this. There we go. Let me share it to some of my groups. I'm supposed to be able to, but you know how that goes with Facebook. Yeah, it don't sound like it is. But anyway, folks, y'all come in and share it around. We got a good show. It's going to be a lot of good information that we're going to put out there. For people to really think about this digital currency is what they're trying to move to. They don't want paper money no more because the paper money doesn't have any backing, I don't think. It's a lot of stuff going on. So, folks, y'all come on in, share it around. We got a great show, and we're going to get it in. That's for sure. We're going to get it in. So, y'all sit back, chill, get you a brew or two. Y'all come on in and get ready because Let the Truth Be Told is on. It's on and popping today, folks. We got a great show. And I want to let people know that we're here. We've been here every day of the week. We have moved to our new TV station. It's TECN That's the Exceptional Conservative Network Television. So y'all tune into that. Y'all can go directly there to TECNTV.com. Go there and you can watch the show on our live stream and TV channel, and share it around. Share it around. We got a great show coming at you. Well, partner, Facebook is still holding me from sharing it to my groups.
You bad man.
I don't know what I did.
Oh,
I didn't do anything.
you know what you did.
Yeah, I'm trying to inform people about the truth of what's happening in our life today and how we can react from it. That's what we're doing. That's what you got to do, man. Ain't nobody telling us what the truth, man. Everybody's saying what they want to say. Everybody going along with the program, the line and stuff, man. It's just ridiculous, man. I tell you, American people, go ahead, bro.
You know everything on the internet's true.
Yeah, right.
Everything on Facebook is true.
Yeah, right. But a lot of people believe that, man.
I know it.
A lot of people believe everything that on Facebook is true, man. It is not. But what we gonna do, we are here to dispel the rumors. So that's our job, is to be able to tell you whether it's true or not. We do the research and we bring it to the American people so that they can find out. And I'm telling people, we really have to start doing research, and we really have to remember what's going on in this country today. That's what. And if we remember that, and if we act accordingly, then we'll know who's for us and who's not, because everybody's trying to get everybody in right now. They want to make sure that the American people forget about COVID. They want them to come on out and vote. They want them to forget about all the shutdowns, but we got to be much smarter than that. And like I say, we have to really do research. We have to really now take a look at the political people that we putting into office, brother, because if we don't, what's going to happen?
What's going on now?
Exactly. I know the American people. I don't think nobody is happy what's going on right now. It cannot be one American on the face of this planet that should be happy with the condition that we in, bro.
A Democrat.
Bro, you right.
They've always been against this country. So,
Folks, y'all can go to TECN, the Exceptional Conservative Network. Go there at TECNTV.com. Go there, and I'm telling you, you can watch us stream live from our own TV station out of Washington, D.C. So, yep, get used to going to that site. We got our website that'll be going up that you can also watch us from the website. So we're doing a lot of good things. This show is really taken off, and we have been able to bring a lot of good information to the American people, and that's what we're gonna continue to do. We're gonna continue to do that. So y'all share it around. Go, what you say, bro?
Can you put that TECN TV in your ticker?
Yes, sir. Let's see. There you go. Let's go there and work with him.
Your little flyer deal or whatever.
Okay.
Your
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on there. Sure is, brother. Okay. All righty. Let's see now. Okay, that should do it right there, bro. All right, let me get it back in there. How about that?
There you go. Can you space it out a little bit from the phone number?
Yep, I can do that.
See, I'm just like a woman, ain't I?
I don't care about this
I'm gonna keep you straight now.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna keep you straight.
Yeah, you're gonna keep me straight. That's what she thought too, yo. She got straight put on ice. I did, spaced it out.
Huh.
See that? That's what I mean. We have to.
Well, maybe it won't space.
Maybe it won't. That's what I'm thinking. Let me try it again. I'm gonna push it a little bit farther away. If we don't do it, we know it's not gonna space. All right. Let's see what it's gonna make it do what it do. Folks, y'all come on in. We are trying to get everything ready for the show. We got a great show today. I don't think it's gonna space, bro. Nope.
So much for my idea.
Huh?
So much for my idea.
Yep, we ain't gonna space. And I'll just keep saying it. But folks, you can watch us live. We are live streaming from TECNTV.com. That's our station. Y'all come on in. We got a great show for you. We're gonna rip in about a minute, bro. So let me get ready. Let me put you in the green room right quick.
Okay.
Folks, we're getting ready to start the show. I want to let everybody know. I want you to share it around.
Universal and coming from the windy city of Chicago, Illinois.
I want everybody to share it around. We got a great show coming at you. Let folks know. Let the Truth Be Told is on. And we're going to get it in. It is 6 o'clock on the dot.
Global, universal, and coming from the windy city of Chicago, Illinois. Now it's time to let the truth be told with David Lowery.
Yep, folks, we got a great show. Y'all come on in. Good morning, Vietnam. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at, and welcome to the talk show. Let the truth be told. Folks, I want to get the show started today a little bit early. We got a lot of things that we want to talk about. A couple of things that has come across to the American people that the Biden administration has done. They've been signing different legislation in the office without bringing it to the American people. And it being an election year, now that we have gotten close to the midterms. But first, let me give all praises to God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for making it possible. And I want to welcome all my first-time listeners, regular listeners. If you're just riding by the internet and you see us talking, stop in and listen, because we are trying to educate. We're trying to open the eyes of the American people so that we won't be caught off guard like we've been caught off for the last couple of years. Let me say this to the American people and patriots across this country. I don't want us to forget. I don't want us to forget what has happened to us in the last 2 years. And I open the show like this. I'm saying it because the closer that we get to the election, the more we're going to see more things that come out as if the American people have forgotten the politicians who have been in office, who has used this pandemic to push a new world order into effect. Now, when we on this show, we first started this show, and when COVID came out, we started talking about these things. We started talking about the new world order and how this was a world reset, and that man is pretty much determined that he wants God to have nothing to do with God anymore. And so this new world order has put itself in a position to where now the politicians and all the rest of these folks are running around trying to deceive the American people. They're trying to make us think right now that they love us. They love the American people. They love this country, and that they want to do the best that they can for the American people because it is an election time. There's a lot of things at stake at this election. A lot of things at stake. Because the American people have already saw what this new world order is trying to usher in. During COVID, they used Black Lives Matter. They used all these other things, Antifa. They used all these things to try to intimidate and disarm the American people to think that, well, maybe we should just pack it up and get on board with the new world order, get on board with the pedophiles, get on board with homosexuality. We just got to get on board with all of this stuff and let them destroy our country and the American way of life. But I think what happened is, see, God is a jealous God, and he says that no one should be before him because God is doing something now. God is awakening the American people and patriots across this country who have been asleep and have allowed this government to step in and take control of our lives and our businesses and our children and our homes and all of our rights that the Constitution gave us and our rights that God gave us. And so what we're going to talk about today is this. We're going to talk about the Biden administration and what they have done. See, my father was a very wise man. He could barely read. He was didn't have the education that probably other fathers had. He had a third grade education. But he was real smart, and he had something called mother wits. That's God-given knowledge. It's a difference between knowledge and education. When you get education, you're trying to receive knowledge. But when God gives you knowledge, he make you knowledgeable about common sense and knowledge about things that's going on. And he told me when I was a boy, he said, son, you have to watch out for people who would throw a rock and hide their hand. And I really didn't understand it until I got older. Then he broke it down to me like this. He said, you will have people in this life, and y'all think about what I'm saying because it's the honest God truth, because that's what's happening to us right now. He said, you would have people in this life that would appear to be like they're your friend, that they care about you, and they support you. But in all reality, they really don't like you. They're jealous of you, and they are doing things behind your back to stab you in your back. And when he said that, I kind of understood. He said, and those kind of people are the kind of people that will throw a rock and hide their hand. Well, to the American people and patriots across this country, think with me. That's what have happened to us. We've had this leadership to come in, and they've told us all these good things. After COVID, the lies that they told about COVID, all of that stuff, they said all we had to do was get Donald Trump out of office and America could go back to being great again. I remember Joe Biden on his speech talking about, yeah, we got to get together, blacks and whites and all of that. We got to get all our stuff together, and we going to build this country again. But to the American people and patriots, that was 2 years ago. Have we seen anything to rebuild this country? We have seen nothing. We have seen more stuff happen to the American people that was way worse that was happening when Donald Trump was in office. And the Democratic Party and the Biden administration have been part of this new world order and the change. So what we're going to talk about today is this. During this change to the American people and to the American economy, which they destroyed, to the American lives they destroyed, all the things all the way up to J6, the Democrats, soft Republicans, have been throwing rocks and hiding their hand. They've been telling the American people one thing, and then behind our backs, not even behind our backs anymore, they're doing the things in front of our face that they said they were not going to do. And so, folks, with no further ado, I'm going to bring my partner in, and we're going to work on talking about the digital currency, Executive Order 14067, and what's actually going on with that executive order. They're trying to mandate and move us to digital currency. What's up, my brother? How you doing today?
I love you, Dave. Will you vote for me?
Only if you tell me lies and make me think that you're going to help me and when you don't.
I'm not a Democrat, so forget it.
Listen, brother, the American people have been going through a lot of stuff, and you know that. And so we're here in a place right now to where we really don't know what the future holds, but we kind of got an idea because they have let out the cat out the bag about what we see. And I've been telling the American people, none of this stuff is going to change. It's only going to get worse. And the only reason why things have gotten somewhat better is because of the midterm elections. Now we're starting to see the same people who hated us and closed our businesses and made us lose millions of jobs because of an illegal drug that we didn't want to take, kept our children out of the schools, implemented homosexuality into the schools, pedophilia, all of these things have come under the Biden administration. And so now here we are, close to midterms, and the Democratic Party are recycling old rogue politicians to come in. They're looking for ways to try to cheat, to steal, to get back into office because they've already know they need to get back into office to finish destroying this country because that's where they're headed. They're headed to make this country a communist country. And if the American people don't wake up now and go to the polls in this midterm and show the Democratic Party and those weak Republicans that the American people still own this country and you can lose your job and you can be fired by the American people, if we don't do that, this country in trouble. Steve?
Yeah, well, that's why they created the Declaration of Independence first. It's a legal document. It was created from the Lee Resolution. And that document spells it out where our rights come from, who created the government, what the government's supposed to do, and what our rights are when government fails to do its job. It's all spelled out there, but nobody teaches this. Nobody talks about it, so nobody knows about it. So for the last several decades, and it's only gotten worse the last 20, 30 years, we're losing our jobs. We've got more regulations. We've got more interference of government in our lives. They're telling us we've got to buy electric cars and we can only use this and we can only do that. And all this stuff is based off of lies, misinformation, and false science. So as long as we sit back and keep believing this stuff, that anything that comes out of government's mouth is the truth, we're goners. We're done.
And you're so right, Steve, too. And I want to talk to the American people about the digital currency, the cryptocurrency. Joe Biden has signed a bill on March 9th. It is an executive order. And what they're trying to do is ensure that this country get rid of paper money. They don't want paper money in effect anymore. And basically what they're doing, when he signed this executive order, he put things into this order to try to move the American people to digital currency without even bringing it to the American people and putting it on a ballot box to let us make a decision on what we want. This has been the same type of attitude that we have seen from the Biden administration. They're not willing to talk to the American people about anything. Just because they got the Democratic Congress and the Senate, they have been shoving things down our throat ever since they've been in the office. They've been trying to make sure that they take our constitutional rights. They're infringing on our freedom of speech. I mean, they have continued to do things against the American people, but yet here it is come election time. Now, all of a sudden, Joe is trying to act like he's a commander in chief when only he's a liar and a thief. And so he has signed March 9th this thing to try to implement the digital currency. And there's a lot of risk involved in this. And I want to break it down to you just a little bit. I want to read a little bit about this digital currency so people can understand exactly, what's going on. And this is a brief overview I'm reading. Digital currency first rocked onto the scene in 2009 with Bitcoins. So why is now the first time the U.S. government has addressed crypto and with such urgency and dedication to boot? The answer lies within the numbers. Cryptocurrency surpassed $3 trillion market cap in November, a number that's only going to continue to grow with more than 100 countries exploring and developing a central. Let me get that for you. Okay. My phone went black. Okay. It says, in November, a number that is going to continue to grow with more than 100 countries exploring developing a central bank currency, the CBDC. The United States must remain the industry leader in digital assets, and there's no better way to do this than with the full power and support of the U.S. government. Now, let me break it down to you. It has been broke down in several areas for this currency, and they're trying to justify these things on why we need to move to it. But the country was built on paper currency, and the paper currency was backed up by the gold. Is that right, partner?
Supposed to be, yeah, gold and silver.
Okay, so isn't it something in the Constitution that says in order for them to create a different currency, it has to be backed up by an asset? Is that true?
No, they don't say that to create a different currency. It says in Article 1, Section 8, to coin money and regulate value thereof. Coin money means to physically make it. So if they're talking about going to a digital global currency, the Constitution says otherwise. Also, I want to point out, and I'm not going to read into it, but I want anybody out there listening to grab your Constitution, U.S. Constitution, go to Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution, and find in there where executive orders can be used. The only constitutional way an executive order can be used is within the executive branch. Article 2 gives and explains the power of the executive branch, and the president is the head of the executive branch.
So you're saying that the executive powers cannot be used like a blanket, like he's doing right now. Is that what you're saying?
No, all he can do in executive orders is to guide and instruct. And another piece of his job is to faithfully execute the laws, not create them, not manipulate them, not to change them. All he is the head of the executive branch. He can give recommendations about stuff, but until people understand it, if the people read Article 2 that explains the executive branch, then they'll understand better on what I'm saying. But if you're going to read the Bible, read the Constitution, because that is the Bible that we created for government. Okay, that we give them the power. You know, like I said the other day, the chain of command is God, the people, the state, and the federal government. God created us. We created the states. The states created the federal government. Therefore, the creation cannot control the creator. We can't control God, can we?
No, we cannot.
So how is it that our state, what we created, can control us? We've got morals, we've got principles, we got values. And the founding fathers said that the Constitution is only for a moral and religious people. There's a meaning to that.
You're right about that. And that means there's a whole lot of people that's immoral that shouldn't be dealing with the Constitution. But the digital currency is this. People, this is one of the main reasons why the American people need to wake up and understand what they're trying to do with digital currency. See, even though they want to say that the digital currency is better than money, it's much more safer. They want to tell you it's safer that way and that you ain't got to carry a lot of money in your pocket. These are the things that they want you to believe that it's okay. They saying that with this currency, you're good. You ain't got to worry about nothing. But let me tell the American people about this currency. This is another form of control by the federal government. That's basically what it is. The government now is trying to control the American citizens and how much capital they can make. Because see, if you go to digital currency, all of your money is going to be accounted for by the federal government. You're not going to be able to make no money on the side. You're not going to be able to do nothing because the government is going to have control of the digital currency. And every time that you make a penny, they're going to know about it. That's why they're trying to get the banks to move toward letting them know, well, if people, and then probably when they pass this thing, if they're going to pass it, they're going to try to, they're going to probably put other stuff in there like saying anytime a person put $600 in the bank, they need to fill out a piece of paper so that the government know that they put over $500 in the bank. See, these are all the little small things that they not tell you. Digital currency is going to be only a way that they're going to be able to control the money in and out of the United States, and they're going to be able to control the wealth. So entrepreneurs who can make money, now they will come under the scrutiny of the federal government. And if they go to digital currency, every penny you make, every profit that you take, they're going to know about it. Steve?
Well, let me put this on there. You remember 9/11 came.
Right.
And it was the terrorists that did this. So what did our government do? They came immediately and created what's called the Patriot Act.
Mm-hmm.
What did that Patriot Act do? It allowed government to monitor the U.S. people's bank accounts. Yes. Remember, we don't want to fund terrorists from the U.S. So for your safety, for the sake of somebody here funding terrorists over there, we're going to monitor your bank. Now, I want to read the Fourth Amendment here.
Go ahead.
The Fourth Amendment says the right of people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause. See, what it's saying there is you have a right to your privacy unless you specifically have done something for them to have reasonable suspicion. Well, what they've been doing, the Patriot Act and the National Defense Authorization Act, has eroded our constitutional protections of unreasonable searches and seizures. Effects means everything that we have, our property and all this is supposed to be secure.
Mm-hmm.
But because of these doggone terrorists, it's for your benefit that we violate your rights. And they've gotten by with this for 22 years.
Yes.
We elect people that create these laws that don't even know their job. And because we're not being educated, because we're not being taught, and because we're not reading for ourselves, which is simple, the Constitution doesn't take that long to read.
Exactly.
And it's not hard to understand. These people are up there doing whatever they want, and they don't have the authority to do it. And we're letting them. That's our fault.
And I'm going to read something else too, Steve, and I'm glad you said that. Now, the reason why they're saying that they want this digital currency is so that it can protect you, the American people. But see, that's the rock, and then through the rock, and that's exactly what I've been talking about. Now, through the rock to tell people, well, this is about caring about the American people. This is about making sure that you don't get caught up in something. And so we're going to fix it for you. And so I'm going to read some of the sections in here. It says, measures to protect the consumers. And this is what this executive order is trying to do. It says, citing the variable risks arising from the increase of using digital assets, such as privacy and digital breaches, unfair or abusive practices, and regulatory and statutory violations. The administration has appointed members of this interagency cooperation to diligently research and develop reports within 180 days from the date of this order, entailing every nook and cranny of the digital economy, the goal to identify the risks and shortcoming and develop plans to mitigate such findings. Now, it says actions to promote financial stability. Within 210 days from this executive order, the Secretary of Treasury will assemble the Financial Stability Oversight Council to produce a report identifying risks to financial stability and regulatory gaps posed by digital assets, including recommendations and proposals that address said risks and gaps. But see, here it is again. They're saying themselves that there is a problem with the digital currency. And now, just like they do everything else, they want to start a committee. They want to start a committee. Now, the government, this is not going to be a third-party committee that's going to be able to come in and take a look at things. This is going to be an agency created by the president and the federal government who are going to do whatever the president tells them to do. They're going to lie about the downfalls. They're going to lie about everything about this digital currency. They're going to do this report. And when they get this report done, they're going to make this report make it think to the American people that the only way that we can move forward now is to go with digital currency. They're not going to tell us the pitfalls or nothing. Steve?
What did you just say? What you just said, what did you just tell everybody? What you just told everybody is government's growing itself.
Yes.
They're growing every aspect of government to control every aspect of your life that they do not have constitutional authority to be doing. That's everything that you just talked about does nothing but grow government. And our founders told us, and even in our Federalist Papers, that the federal government was given few and defined powers. And what they do is for your health, for your safety, those mean old terrorists, we're going to create something else. Well, now we're going to create a digital currency. You don't have to worry about touching it and getting COVID.
Yep.
Or get boogers on your fingers.
And see, they make this stuff and they do it under the guise of something else.
That's it.
You know, and they think that, okay, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Just like Planned Parenthood, the founder of Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, her mission was to destroy the Black community, Black and brown babies, to exterminate them. Okay, she set up these Planned Parenthoods, and all the Black community, they're just like McDonald's all over the place, where Black women and brown women can go into these places and get abortions and come out of there. But the way they set them up, they didn't set them up and say, okay, we're going to set them up and we're going to abort as many Black babies as we could. In order to trick the people, they said, we're opening these Planned Parenthoods because we want the people in the community to get good health care. See, the key word was health care. And now Black women are running into these abortion clinics, getting abortion, and they've aborted from the 60 million since Roe versus Wade, and 60% of those 40 million, 60% of the 40 million is Black babies. And that 60% equates to about 28 million. So 28 million Black babies have been murdered in the womb. And that's why our community is like it is. These are the type of things that I'm talking about because they made Planned Parenthood seem like this is about the health care. This is about the welfare and the health care of Black folks, when it really wasn't. And that's what they're doing now with this bill. They're saying, okay, this is for the welfare of the American people. It's for your benefit. It's for your benefit because this way, we're the only ones that's going to be in control of all the currency when you go digital. That means all the money is no good no more. But I can guarantee you this, just like the way the government, who just sent $625 million to the Ukraine, in addition to the 50 trillion they've sent over there already. And study lying to the American people about, well, we fighting for democracy. And that's the biggest lie ever when we don't even have the democracy here in this country because the government are stealing our constitutional rights and treating us like peasants with our own money and our own family. Steve?
Yeah, well, we're guaranteed a republic form of government, Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution. But every time you turn around, news, politicians, mayors, people, everything's referred to as a democracy. I challenge anybody out there to look up, Google democracy, and find any time, anywhere in this world where a democracy did not fail.
And Steve, I'm going to read some more of what you're talking about. It says, now, action to limit illegit finance and associated national security risk. Okay. It says, within 90 days of submission of this original report to Congress, that's the report that the government's going to report on itself. It says, the national strategy of combating terrorism and other illegit financing, the strategy key players of this interagency cooperation, including the secretaries of Treasury and State, will return to the president supplemental annexes providing insight into the illegit financial risks presented by digital assets. Well, to me, this, to me, I'm reading this to the American people, and we should be thinking about these things. We should be thinking about this president who wrote this, who have been lying and stealing money from the American people ever since he's been in office over 30 years ago. The same man was in this office 30 years ago, stealing money, lying, still separating the American people, saying things about Black people that is just totally out of line. Because see, let me say this. This is why I said the American people, we need term limits and we need to stop the foolishness that if we let the politicians stay in office too long, they become rogue because now they don't want to listen to what we say, but they feel they have the power to do whatever they want to do to us. And this is the rub for us right here. This is the place where the American people should be saying, Joe, hold up, wait a minute. You don't have the authority. My partner just read off the authority that he has, which is none, writing this executive order. And if he writes this executive order, it can only pertain to the executive branch, which he runs. But this, what we're showing you is how corrupt and how this government is continuing to do things against the American people, even though they know the Constitution says they can't, but they're doing it anyway. So this is another rub that Joe Biden is doing, and it's really a distraction because, see, he just sent another $625 million to the Ukraine, but ain't nobody talking about that. See, they use things like this to throw the rock and say, well, you know, we got to worry about digital currency. And in the meantime, all the money that they've stolen from the Ukraine and Afghanistan and all that money is coming back to the politicians and putting it into their pocket. And the American people are still suffering and we have nothing. My thought to the American people, how much longer are we going to allow these carpetbag politicians to continue to lie to us and steal from us and change our lives? There's nothing been positive that have come out with the Biden administration. He's a blade-faced liar. He lied about the jab. He lied about not mandating things. He lied about the jobs. People talking about, well, we got a lot of new jobs. Yeah, we got a lot of new jobs because over 10 million people lost their job from not taking the jab that you mandated, that you knew you was going to lose when it went to court, but you still forced people to take an experimental drug. We, the American people now, we really have to take a look at this administration and what this man is doing. He is not operating out of his own faculties. He's not. Joe is sick, people. Joe got dementia. Joe is full of drugs. Joe is operating out the basement. And the Democrats like Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and all the rest of those clowns who destroying this country is implementing all of this new stuff. They're part of the New World Order, and that's why they're doing it. And they're trying to usher it in, and they'll use other things to distract us while they put this stuff through. And now they're coming to the American people, it's election time, saying, guess what? I love America. I love the American people. It's the same guy that told you if you don't take the jab, you're out of a job. So the American people need to wake up, and we need to come against these things that they're implementing. And the key thing is, the very key thing is, to the American people and patriots across this country, the key thing that we have to do now is we have to go to them polls and we have to vote them completely out of office. If we don't vote these Democrats and these rhinos, Republicans, we don't get them out of office, I guarantee you the American people are going to suffer like hell after November if they still control both of these houses. Steve?
Don't forget, too, this vaccine, it's still being promoted and told to people to be taken, is still under the Emergency Use Authorization Act. Almost 3 years now, they still are using that excuse to put through a poison that's causing myocarditis, pericarditis, physical and neurological effects. They've got what they call the sudden adult death syndrome, people just dropping over dead, young people under 30 years old, teenagers. You know, this is what a democracy gets you. The majority, the mob rules. And what we are seeing right now, we're not seeing a republic form of government. We're seeing a democracy. And that's why I say, look up, Google, look up history, and find one nation, one society that succeeded under a democracy. And you'll be looking at the problems that we're seeing today. History is already proven to us. And because we don't understand and learn history, we don't research stuff, we're repeating it right now.
Exactly. And Steve, you're so right. And I'm saying to people watching the show, please share it around. But more importantly, do research on this executive order 14067. Look at it and read it and break it down so you can understand and share it around to others, because this is it in a nutshell. Because they've already printed so much money. See, the gold is already gone. Whatever will happen to the gold at Fort Knox is gone. And the money that they keep printing does not have any assets attached to it. And the thieves that stole all that gold and have been printing that money, one of them is the president of this United States. And some of those other Democrats like Obama and the Clintons, they've stole that money and that money has disappeared. And now in order for them to get out of the mess that they're in, because see, the American people are starting to ask questions. If we still have Fort Knox, how come we don't have the gold? See, that's the trick. They don't have that gold. They've done something with it. And now our currency means nothing. And so they printed so much money that it's probably going to surpass the value of the gold. And the American dollar means almost nothing anymore. And that's why now they're trying to say, look, wait a minute. We're going to have to answer to the people if they find out that we have made all this money and it has no basis. It has no backing. It has no assets. So in order for us not to end up in jail or dead, we're going to have to try to sucker them in to believe that digital currency is the way to go. But they're not even trying to sucker us in. They're shoving it down our throats, just like they're shoving electric cars down our throats and everything else down our throats, because the American people have been asleep. Steve?
Well, I want to remind everybody one thing, that JFK, who I consider probably the last true Democrat, what he was trying to do before he was assassinated, and that was to take our money and back it by gold and silver again. And he ended up being assassinated. So what you're talking about, Dave, has everything to do with the dismantling of this country. that digital currency ain't going. Everybody sees the commercial. What is it called? LifeLock. Every 3 seconds, somebody's identity's being stolen. That's because everything's gone digital.
Yes.
That's right there under your nose. And now they want you to buy something from somebody so you can register all your info with so they can keep it secure. It's right under your nose. That's you just got to use your own common sense. Government's not here to help you. They're here to help themselves now. And until we start learning this stuff, ain't nothing going to change.
Well, you know, folks, like I said, I want folks to do the research, and you guys start looking and digging into this executive order. Again, it's I love you, boy. It's 14067, Executive Order 14067. Please, folks, research it, write it down, and look at it closely, and you'll see for yourself that it's a bag of tricks, and it's nothing that will be conducive to the American people. Now, I want to shift gears to the American people. See, the reason why we get in this kind of trouble, and especially Black people, the reason we in this trouble right now, and the reason why the Black family structure is down to probably 11% is because it seemed like the Black community will not open its eyes up and look at a person in their eyes. See, and what I mean by that is this. Joe Biden came out on today in the news, and Joe Biden said that he is going to, he's finna give clemency to men who have been locked up in jail for years for small amounts of marijuana. Now, Joe saying now he finna pardon him some Negroes who he locked up. Now think about this for a minute. I want Black people to really think about this, okay? In the 90s, when the Black community was infested with drugs, the crack, the cocaine, guns, all of those things was put into our community on purpose. Black people, I'm getting close to the mic so you can hear me. Those things were put in our community on purpose. They had our young men and women think I could get me a pound of crack and sell it and get rich. They had them thinking that we can buy guns illegal and sell them and we can get rich. All the stuff that was put into the Black community was put into the community by this government. Black people don't own boats. They don't own trains. They don't own none of the stuff that could transport marijuana, cocaine, guns, and every illegal thing that was brought to the Black community. We don't own that. And the reason why I'm saying is this, all of those things in the 90s had came to a point in the Black community because now Black people who were afraid to come out of their house, the kids was gang banging, the police was killing and shooting, drugs, crack was running through our community. And it wasn't the only place that was running through our community too, but it was good in other communities. But it wasn't being reported like it was being reported in the Black community. So now here you come, you got this young senator, white senator, who openly took pictures with the Senator Byrd, who was head of the Ku Klux Klan at the time, who got on the television and went into the papers. This young senator named Joe Biden from Delaware got on the news prime time, had all the papers there, and this is what he said. I'm tired of all the crime that Black people are committing. They're none but effing animals. This is what Joe Biden said about us black people, and y'all voted his ass into office. He said that black people was none but animals. Hillary Clinton said we was animals too. And then he said, I don't want the damn animals going to school with my children. And thus, Joe, the Clintons, a bunch of black pastors across the country got together and they created the crime bill that started locking black men up if they thought they spit on the ground. The crime bill that Joe Biden wrote, and he bragged about it. Yeah, I wrote the damn bill. I'm putting them niggers in jail, and I love it. And then black men was going to jail in droves. The prisons became private, and the black man was going to jail. They drained the economics out of the black community. Black men was going to jail. The court system was putting black men in jail just like that for anything, going to jail. The jails got full because they was making money off black men and brown men. And Joe Biden sit back and he laughed all the way to the bank. And then black people, we committed the ultimate crime of stupidity. We let Barack Obama come in with a good speech, talking that crap, and he made Joe Biden, and now listen to me, he made Joe Biden the vice president who said that he hated black people. I don't want them niggers with my kids. The same man who created the crime bill, now he's the vice president under a black president. And while he was the vice president, he knew he did wrong by creating that bill because it destroyed the black family. It weakened us so bad. The jails were full of black men. The graveyards were full of black men. The police was killing us. They was using all sorts of blue alert laws that Obama created to shoot a black man. If he got it at a certain distance, shoot him in the back. Him and Joe did all of that to the black community. Joe Biden, 8 years as the vice president, he never talked about doing nothing. He never talked about pardoning no black people. And he knew that a lot of black men went to jail who was innocent, but he did them anyway. His student, the best student, was Kamala Harris, the vice president. She got an award for sending black men to jail for small marijuana charges. They created 3 strikes you out. They did all of that stuff to the black community. Kamala Harris was in California. She sent 2 men to death row, withheld information that they was innocent, and then brought the damn information out after they was executed. Kamala Harris did that. Y'all research. And look what happened, black people. Look what happened, black America. The 2 people who hated black people the most became the president and the vice president of the United States. And guess how they got into office? They got into office because black people, out of their ignorance, went to the polls and they put his ass in office. The same man who created the crime bill and said he hated niggas. The same woman who the vice president who sent innocent men to jail on small marijuana charges. And now the same man is telling the American people, and he telling the black community, well, I'm finna do black people a favor right before the election. I'm gonna do them a favor, and I'm gonna pardon all those black people that I put in jail with the crime bill. All the ones that Kamala put in jail with the crime bill, and she was the #1 student. All of those people who went to jail and lost their lives because they smoked marijuana. Now Joe's saying, well, you know what? It's against the law. People are smoking marijuana. They shouldn't be in jail because of that. Well, they're in jail because you put them there. And black people, this is our president that you elected from the Democratic Party. A lot of y'all sons and daughters is still in jail behind the BS. Brothers got 20 to life for small bags of marijuana. 3 strikes you out. All of this was done by the president today. And black people, y'all voted him into office. And so now all of a sudden, it's close to the midterms. And now Joe telling us, hey, black people, y'all forget about that. Y'all forget about I put y'all people in jail. Y'all forget about how I destroyed the family. Y'all forget about all of that. Because guess what? It's election time. And old Papa Joe needs y'all to forget about that so that we can get back into office. So what I'm going to do for y'all niggers, I'm going to let some of them out who I put in jail for the marijuana charge. Now, they shouldn't be in jail now because I need for black people to come out and vote for us, even though I know that we shouldn't be, but I need y'all to vote for me, and that's why I'm going to let some of them out so y'all can be happy and run to the polls and say, oh, Joe did something good for black people, and vote me back in so I can destroy the country. Steve?
Well, what I want to say to the white people is I want them to sit back, see what's going on, listen to what's going on, and hopefully if you're white and a Democrat, you'll see what's going on to the black people, to the black community, with the laws, and the Democrats that have done it and stop voting for them simply because they're a Democrat. Too many people that I talk to, they're Democrats and they vote straight Democrat tickets because of Democrats. They don't even research on what that person they're voting for is even going to do. They just vote because they're a Democrat. You got to stop that.
Well, partner, let me say this to black folks. We talked about voting your values. And Steve, I know we put it out there, the values, the different parties. But I need black folks to really, really, really take a look at the values of both parties. And when you look at the values of the parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, I can guarantee you this, a person who is honest to themselves, because I had to do it myself. I was on the plantation in the mine thinking the Democrats loved black people. They all, man. It wasn't until I really understood the values that the Democratic held that made me wake up and say, I'm not voting for them no more because they believe in government. They believe in welfare. They believe in taking over our schools and implementing homosexuality like they've done. They don't believe that marriage is between a man and a woman, but political correctness to determine what marriage is. Everything that the Democrats stand for is what I've stood against as a black man. But on the other side, Republicans say, oh, we need to make sure that we keep control of our schools. We need to make sure that less government is in our lives. We need to make sure that we abide by the Constitution. Republican lifestyle say we need to keep God first. Nothing comes before God if you're a Republican, not the government and nowhere else. If you're a Democrat, you don't care about God, you care about the government and what they're doing. So I'm telling black people, we have to stop. We have to wake up. And I almost sometimes think it's too late because we done went down this road with the Democrats and we have nothing to show for it. We don't own nothing. And yes, the Republicans too, they've stood back and watched it happen. But their values are much stronger for the people than the Democrats. And I'm telling people to research it. Look at the values of both parties. And when you look at the values of both parties, then think about your values and what you value. And I guarantee you, a lot of people wouldn't be voting for the Democrats if they really knew the hidden agenda that they have. But it's showing right now. The New World Order, homosexuality, digital currency, changing the Constitution, throw the Bible out, throw God out the country. All of this has been done under Democratic leadership. Pardon your last words, and we got to get out of here.
Yeah. ever since the beginning of this country, and I've done enough looking up what I'm talking about. The Democrats have been un-American. They've hated this country. They've proven it from day one that this country became the United States of America. And you do your research, you look it up, you find out, understand history, because we're repeating it now. And that's all I can say. My final word is just look it up for yourself and then make your decisions from there.
Thank you, partner. I'll see you tomorrow on the other side. Blessings on to you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in to the show. I want to thank you for allowing us to come into your homes and try to open your mind up about what's going on with us. And also, I want you to go to our TV station. You can watch us live, TECNTV.com. That's where you can watch us live stream. You can watch our show. We have great programming. We have all sorts of shows. We have movies. Go there and enjoy. Subscribe or whatever it is and share it around. These are my last words. To the American people, we already know what we're facing. We're facing a game. The politicians are playing games with us. They're acting like they really care about us. And it was just 6 or 7 months ago, they was throwing people out of their jobs. They was closing businesses. They was forcing people into taking illegal drugs in their arm, all of that. But they want you to forget about that now and come out and vote them back into office. But I want you to remember one thing when you go to the polls. Remember to look at this country. Remember to look at all the bad things that have happened in the last few months, in the last 2 years. And remember how it affected you and how it still affected you. Remember all the lies. Remember the Ukraine and all the money that's being sent over there every week, and American people are suffering. Remember Afghanistan. Remember all the illegal immigrants who have flooded the borders, who have came to this country illegally. And Joe Biden them is sending them to places and then getting them ID so they can vote. I need you to remember these things and how bad this administration is and what it is doing to this country. This is the most important thing I want you to remember. I want you to remember the American way of life. I want you to remember what God said, that marriage is between a man and a woman. I want you to remember what this country was built on the backs of Americans and patriots who died for wars for freedom. I want you to remember that when you go to the polls. And I want you to remember to vote their ass out of office. God bless you. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And peace.